them to have to address some things behind closed doors and, you know, come to some sort of understanding of how we can continue to move forward as a team and as a unit, right? Forget about who's not getting the ball. Forget about who's not making this play. The fact of the matter is we got a great opportunity to do something special here. And I believe they had those uncomfortable conversations once that occurred. Again, I don't expect them to ever admit that, nor should they. But I got a feeling as a former player, when something like that happens, it forces you to address the elephant in the room. And sometimes that can be a good thing, because look at what the team became after that. It didn't splinter those guys, right? It didn't make them pull apart. It made them come closer together. So again, it may not have been comfortable at the time, but when I look back at that, I think it forced those guys to have to address some things.
The two tackles said as much. You know, both of them, Mailata and Johnson said that.
Speaking of Mailata, we got him on the field moments ago with John Clark. Jordan Mailata.
When we got that win? Yeah. I mean, you know, we had to play to the whistle, so yeah, felt great.
Congratulations, thank you for your time.
Jordan, captain, left tackle, now Super Bowl champion. What does that mean to you?
Man, I don't know. You know, usually I have the right words to say, but yeah, I don't know what to say right now. It's surreal. It's surreal.
Pretty cool moment watching you embrace Mekhi, who's much more emotional. Talk about your evolution from this team as somebody who was once that kind of younger guy coming up to now one of the leaders on a dominant O-line.
Just trying to find my role. Trying to be there for my boys, whether it be, you know, through action or through words. But yeah, just an amazing moment to embrace there with Mekhi. Amazing moment of embrace with Mekhi, man. Just one of the best guys around that I've met, and you know, so glad that he was here with us this year. To get the job done means even more.
First Australian to play in and win a Super Bowl. What does that mean to you?
That I like. That I like. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
How impressive was your defense tonight?
Lights out. They kept giving us moment after moment to give us, you know, more playing time, an opportunity to put points on the board, man. They play lights out, man. We knew how they were going to play. We just knew. Different group. Just, you can see the hunger, man. You can see the humble and hungriness throughout the week, and we just knew this is the kind of game they were going to do.
I know how locked in you guys were, but were you surprised by the score at any point? Those are incredible players. Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, you were up so big.
We're just focusing on doing our job, John. That's it. Every time we got back to the sideline, what went wrong, the communication was great. You know, just trying to find ways to fix any problems that, you know, they were doing, or, you know, any plays that they were stopping, and that's all we're focusing on. Just focusing on how to, you know, extend the drives, get points on the board. Defense was playing lights out, so they kept giving us opportunities to go down there and put points on the board. And man, Jalen. Man, when you count him out, when the odds are against him, that dude, man, special. Special players make special plays. He thrives in that environment, man. Thrives in that type of pressure, man. He's amazing, man. Jalen's amazing.
What do you want to tell Philadelphia?
What are they going to say now?
And what are you bringing back to Philadelphia?
We're bringing that championship home, baby. I don't know what it's called. What's it called again?
The Lombardi.
Lombardi.
And enjoy the parade.
Lombardi. Hey, I'm going to enjoy tonight. I'm going to enjoy tonight. How about that?
How you going to celebrate?
Thank you.
I don't know.
Jordan Mailata talking to John Clark and the assembled media and what he's been through this past year. His dad had suffered a heart attack, going back to Australia to see him. He's okay, thankfully. Was unable to make this Super Bowl appearance, and he was keeping tabs on his dad's recovery from here all the way back to Australia. So that could be one reason he is absolutely stunned. Also, and you guys are all champions to varying degrees. It's humbling winning, isn't it? You feel great, and you are the vanquisher, but at the same time, I mean, to think about all the work put in, to think about you're at the mountaintop, right?
It's respect for the game. It's respect for your opponent. You are at the top of your game right now. You're the pinnacle of your success. You're the world champion. I have never seen Jordan Mailata that humble. That guy is usually outspoken, articulate, and eloquent in the way he says things. You can tell he's very humble by the fact that he's now a world champion. It really hasn't hit him yet. Maybe when he has a couple beers or something at the hotel.
It takes a while.
But
it takes a while.
It hasn't sunk in yet.
Jaws, there wasn't one point with this team where anybody on the 53-man roster doubted that this would happen. And I think when you see, like, they're not surprised, they're not shocked. It's not. I mean, this is what they expected. This is what they've worked for. This was the only goal they had all year. And I'm sure they all visualized what, and all they've done is kind of carry out what they expected of themselves, which is a really cool place to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting to hear once these guys get a chance to reflect. And everybody has, I guess, that individual epiphany moment where you feel like we got something special here. We got a chance to do something special here. I know for me with this team, it was that stretch against Washington on Thursday night. Yeah. Then I believe it was the Rams after that, and then Baltimore. Mm-hmm. They went 3-0 in that stretch. That's when it dawned on me. I said, man, this is the best team in football. I mean, because to take on Washington and then have to go to the West Coast and then come back and play a physical Baltimore Ravens team.
In Baltimore after flying back.
Baltimore. Yeah. And you just see the way they completely dominated those 3 games. I mean, that's when it dawned on me that this team is the best team in the NFL.
And then there was Carolina, and then there was Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh still had something to play for. One more time, back to what did you call Reed Blankenship? And
the Exciting Whites. Come on, man. Come on now.
The Exciting Whites.
My brothers now.
With one of them right now, Reed Blankenship, is John Clark.
We need. I mean, we already won. See y'all on Broad Street, man.
So how incredible of a feeling is it to bring the Lombardi Trophy back to Philadelphia?
Oh my gosh, like it's a dream come true. Kind of spoiled at 22, didn't really know what it took to get there, to get here. Last year was ups and downs, and man, we got it. We brought it all together. I mean, I wouldn't trade this for the world. Like, I cried earlier, and I don't know if I can cry anymore. But oh my gosh, I cannot wait to get back in Philly. I mean, I know y'all turn right now. Golly.
So, I remember interviewing you after the NFC title game about Cooper DeJean. Can he finally catch one?
Finally. I mean, CP was over here telling him that he can't really catch a pick in a big game. But here he is. I mean, catching a pick 6 on his birthday in the Super Bowl against one of the best teams. So, oh my gosh, I love him. I love everybody that I played for. I mean, this is unreal right now.
To be able to do what you did to Patrick Mahomes, were you surprised at all by the score at some points in this game?
Honestly, no. We talked about it all week. Like, it wasn't going to be close. We were that confident. I mean, we came out here, we saw what they were going to do. They didn't change a whole lot. And, I mean, we sat back and did what we were supposed to do. I mean, our front 7 went to work, allowed us back, our secondary to go to work, and we matched it all night long. I mean, at one point, I feel like they had like 60-something total yards, and that's unheard of. But shout out to Vic, shout out to all the other coaches underneath him, man. We got the job done.
And to be able to get that pressure time and time again without blitzing one single time, right?
We got a bunch of dogs, I'm telling you. Like, a bunch of dogs, man. I mean, I can't believe it. Are you happy? Are you happy?
Philadelphia's happy.
Are you happy?
I'm happy.
Okay.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Congrats.
Let's go.
Let's go. Philadelphia what you want to tell them.
Hey, you already know. Broad Street, Thursday, Friday, be there. We turn that thing up all day long. Let's go.
Congrats.
Go away! Go. Flex, that's just love it.
John Clark. I like, what? He's trying to get John. Are you happy? And John's like, well, Philadelphia's happy. No, I want to know if you're happy.
Clark's one of the exciting whites.
Yeah. Wait.
John's happy. That's hard, man. That's actually hard, because you're sitting there like, we just won a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I mean, you see your family over there, making confetti angels. I looked over at the head coach, he's kicking the trophy. The quarterback sitting there walking around like, what is going on? And these guys are world champions. That's unbelievable. That was the best. That's right now the best safety, the best free safety in the NFL right now.
How about
we just saw.
Grown men are crying.
Right.
Grown men are crying, right?
Yeah.
So happy. I love it.
Yeah, and you know why? Because it's about the community of sport. It's about the bonding of sport. It's about watching games with moms and dads and siblings. And it's about watching games with those that we love that are no longer
Sports
here.
does, yep.
Or maybe we're missing on this day or on this night. And really is a uniter. And the commercial that they had with Snoop and with Tom Brady was beautiful. Why people have to hate each other and how ridiculous it is. And sport is the unifier. It doesn't make a difference the color of your skin, your religion, whatever. We're all unified against a common, for a common goal, which is to watch our team do that. Snow Angels, and we all feel that age right there.
Well, I mean, it crosses all barriers. That's what sports does. It crosses all barriers: race, creed, financials, everything. You know, and that's what
Howie with his family out there. Howie Rose
out there.
Howie and his family enjoying that. Man,
And you know what else? You know what else? You know, being a Philadelphia sports fan, this is what makes it all worth it. So that we can have a night like tonight. You know, listen, I've been here 27, 28 years of my life. Wasn't born and raised here. I was drafted here. I haven't left except for those 2 years I was in Atlanta. But I haven't left. And my heart has certainly always been here. And I've been a part of a lot of disappointing losses. And in my time here, understanding what it means to be a Philadelphia sports fan isn't just about the final time or that opportunity where you do get to rejoice as a champion. It's about persevering through all those tough times and those disappointments and those letdowns and getting back up and continue to fight and support your team. You know, this is why championships at this moment matter more to this region, to this fan base, to us, because we don't take it for granted.
Well, think about what Eagles fans have been through over the years. I mean, there was a period from 61 up till 99 where they won 2 playoff games. Yeah. Jaws won a couple playoff games. They won one in 92, one in 95. But you're talking about 4 decades of misery, other than a little blip in the late 70s, early 80s. Yeah. And then Andy ironically comes in and kind of changes that whole thing, but then still a lot of disappointment until 2017. I mean, this is a fan base that suffered for over half a century without a championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what?
Over half a century. If you were 12 years old when they won a championship in 60, you were 7. I didn't do the math. You're 70 years old when they won it in 17. So half a century of misery. That makes it even sweeter.
You know, and what really puts things in perspective, because you know the fans here. Imagine how many fans refinance their houses to get tickets to go to New Orleans and watch this Eagles team win the Super Bowl. I know this for a fact because I remember being there and I refinance. I'm trying to eat dinner and I refinanced my house to go down to Arizona or to go down when I went to Jacksonville. I mean, they did whatever it takes for them to get and be a part of the Super Bowl type of atmosphere with this Philadelphia Eagles team. So, yeah, this is real. I mean, all this is real.
Go ahead,
I wore 2 rings today. This is from 1980's Super Bowl NFC Championship game, which that's a nice ring. But for Super Bowl 52, I worked on the Eagles front office and the coaching staff, hired Doug Peterson. This is the ring you want, the World Championship ring. This one is very, very special because 45 years ago, it all brings people together.
It all
brings people together.
And speaking of that, we're getting to John Clark in a second. I just got a text from the great Phil Martelli, former St. Joseph's coach, also was at Michigan. And he said, just got word from a close friend that at St. Peter and Paul Cemetery, there are groups tailgating at the graves of their loved ones. Only in Philly, hashtag Delco. That is how it goes. Yeah. I got another text from the governor of the Commonwealth, Josh Shapiro, says, amazing! He's so excited. Let's go to John Clark one more time. It's going to be plenty of times to John Clark. He was on the field with number 3, the answer, Nolan Smith.
We asked you a couple quick questions for Philadelphia.
Hey, for Philly, I got you.
Your defensive line, constant pressure. You didn't blitz once, did you?
No, man, but shout out to Coach Vic, man. When he talked about us just winning up front, working up front, and, man, shout out to all the guys next to me, man. All year, man, we just rush and work hard and keep our head down and grind. No better deserving group, and all the glory to God. And, man, city of Philly, this is for y'all, man. Y'all deserve one. I wasn't here at the other one, but I'm here for it now.
So Reed Blankenship told me all week long, you guys didn't think this would be close. You're going against a team that had won 2 straight Super Bowls. Did you believe it wouldn't even be close?
I believe just because how physical we are and how we work. And, man, when we walked into meetings every day, you could tell the determination on God's face. And, man, I couldn't thank the group no more, man. This is an amazing experience. And, man, we won the Super Bowl.
What do you want to tell Philadelphia?
Philly, I love you. This for y'all.
Sounds like Barrett.
Sounds like Barrett.
See, that's what I'm saying. You know, and that's what it is. You know, you heard what he said. It didn't matter what they did on the other side of the football. It all mattered what they did. You know, that's why I was so hell bent on telling everybody, I don't care Andy Reid, I don't care about Patrick Mahomes, I don't care about none of that. What I care about is how these guys approach this game. And the Eagles' way, that physical brand of football, is why they got so much better in the playoffs than they were even in the preseason, during the season. So, that physical, I hope that carries on, you know, and this who they are from this time on, because there's nothing like having that type of mantra going in and playing a team where they know they're going to get beat up every single game.
Mm-hmm. They beat this team 40-22.
It wasn't that close.
It wasn't that close. That's what's amazing about this team, right? I've been a part of teams that we felt like we had that ability, certainly had the talent level to put on that type of display, but we didn't. And it's something to play into your potential when it's required of you.
Right.
And that's what I've seen from this team. Really, since that Green Bay game and the end of the Rams game, you go to that championship game against Washington, and then today, they were clearly the best team on the football field.
In the NFL.
Playing to their potential.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing, man, because you often, like, when these games are over with, you don't want to walk away saying, I wish we'd have did this, or we could have done that, or we should have done this. I don't think there's any regrets when you look. I know they won, so it's easy to overlook things. But if you just watch them, if you just watch the games that they played.
Not close.
Man,
Not close.
They've been the best team every week.
In fact,
they really have.
Just by score, guys, Green Bay Packers game, 22-10. The closest one really was the Rams, 28-22.
And that Green Bay game could have been 29-10 if Saquon
You're right.
to score.
Absolutely right. And then Washington, 55-23. And I really thought, based on Washington is in the NFC Championship game. You say what you want, they're in the NFC Championship game. They thumped them. And I'm thinking, I think it's going to go the same way. I just didn't have the what's to say it.
Sure.
I know you did.
I kept telling you,
yeah.
The physicality which these guys play, there's nothing like knowing that when you're at practice, you're playing against the most physical guy on the other side of the ball. This defense know that they're going to get a physical play from that offense. And you're going out there and practicing against guys like that, it sets your mind off. This is going to be easy come Sunday because I know I can whoop him because I didn't whoop this guy in practice every day. Yeah. And that's the physicality they had. This team right now is amazing because, number one, the quarterback is all about winning. You know, I love what he said. What'd you call him? He said,
he's an elite winner.
Elite winner. That's the best way to describe who he is, elite winner. And that's my thing from this point on.
You know what I would add to that, and I agree, is that everybody on this team is as well. There's
exactly.
not one guy on this team that's more concerned with their stats,
nope.
their numbers, their awards, their accolades. Every single guy on this team is bought into Nick's philosophy of, you know, the group is stronger than the individuals, and they really are. Tonight showed that. I mean, this was a team win on defense, on offense, right up and down the 60 minutes. I mean, this was a locked-in group. Nobody's out for themselves. They're all making the guys around them better, and they all want to see their teammates succeed.
We talked at length a few moments ago about the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie, and he moments ago talked to the other member of our team, Jason Avant, who's out there with us in New Orleans, and here's the former Eagles wide receiver with Jeffrey Lurie.
Got Mr. Lurie here. How does it feel to be Super Bowl champion again with this group?
You know, I'm just so proud of this group, but I'm so proud to be able to bring another Lombardi Trophy back to the best fans in the world. And we want to do it often, and we're just, you know, we were disappointed 2 years ago. We thought we had it, and tonight we made up for it a little bit, and so happy and proud to bring it back to Philly.
Last question I have for you is, your coach and your quarterback, they get a lot of ridicule all the time. What did they say to everyone their detractors?
So, you know what? I don't think people don't realize what we value in Jalen and Nick sometimes. Maybe we're a little different than other teams, but we're just not into a lot of things that don't correlate with winning and winning big. And like tonight was a great example. The Chiefs did a great job stopping our run game, and I had no question in my mind Jalen would throw the ball great. He's got the clutch gene. He's an awesome passer and great with his legs. And I went in the game very confident that our quarterback would play great.
Congratulations on being Super Bowl champ.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Jason Avant, I'll tell you what, you keep at it, you're going to be a journalist extraordinaire, man. That was the question that he asked Jeffrey Lurie, which was, they've had their detractors, Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts. What do you say to the people who have been criticizing the two of them? And he spoke specifically about Jalen Hurts, saying, you don't understand what we value in our players and in our coaching staff, and that Jalen Hurts has the clutch gene.
I love that term.
That means the winner gene.
I love that. I love that term, the clutch gene, because you think about all throughout his career here in Philadelphia. For the most part, no one's ever perfect in this damn business because everyone is good. But he comes through in all clutch situations. He has the clutch gene. It's a new term that I know we're all going to start using.
You're right. It's going to be, I can hear it tomorrow on your show. The clutch gene.
The clutch gene.
Possessed by Jalen Hurts, who is the MVP of Super Bowl 59. How about Super Bowl 60? I wonder what the odds are on that.
I'll bet we're favored right now.
We probably are. There's another look at the ceremony. Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, Jalen Hurts taking the Lombardi Trophy as Nick Sirianni looks on. Cooper DeJean in the background. A special, special night. Greatest win ever by this franchise? I think so. We'll talk more about that, more interviews as we continue. Postgame Live, presented by Pure Auto Insurance. Eagles are Super Bowl champs. And here's the quarterback comparison, presented by our friends at Team Toyota. Check this out. Yeah, the MVP's on the right, Jalen Hurts. 17 of 22, 221, passer rating of 119.7. It was down in the 60s after that interception in the first half, and then up to almost 120 to finish the game. Patrick Mahomes was about 10, and I'm not kidding, at one point in the game. 21 of 32 for 257, 3 touchdowns, but 2 picks, 1 for a pick 6 by Cooper DeJean, and 25 rushing yards. That's 72 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts is an NFL record, Super Bowl record. And as Ruben said earlier, he breaks his own record.
A lot of garbage numbers for Mr. Mahomes there.
Thank you, Ruben.
Garbage
exactly
numbers.
Right.
Yeah, we saw this game.
Those are fourth quarter when you're down 40-6.
Yeah.
Honest guy doesn't lie.
Jaws can throw a touchdown against Tristan McCollum at this point.
I was listening up.
I tell you, he's faced off against Mahomes 3 times, right, over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
By all accounts, he outplayed him in the last Super Bowl.
He did.
But give Mahomes credit, he made the plays late. He beat him last year in Kansas City.
Monday nighter.
And then he did this today.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about...
They won the game. I wouldn't say Jalen beat him in that Monday night game. I thought...
True, I agree. But he made the big throw late to Devontae Smith. Yeah, so all I'm saying is for him to get as much criticism as he gets, or put it this way, to where he's sometimes not viewed as the Josh Allens or the Lamar Jacksons or the Joe Burrows, all those guys who
How many
get
Super Bowls they won?
Well, and they often get the excuse, well, you have to go up against Patrick Mahomes, and that's why they can't get to the Super Bowl. Well, I tell you what, this kid doesn't have a hard time playing against Patrick Mahomes.
Can anybody still be
He plays well against Patrick Mahomes with no problem.
Is there really anybody who can still be critical of him after what he's done, after the body of work that he's put out there?
You gotta be a hater.
He's 26 years old. He's 26. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's won 1. He's never not made the playoffs.
Yeah. And he's going to win more. This is a fantastic.
There's no question.
This team is constructed for a dynasty. Hey, you got to be lucky.
Dynasty?
Dynasty.
It is. I don't want to get there now. Let's wait 5 minutes.
I am getting there. Look at this defense. It's number one. Look how young this defense is.
Right, and that's the big thing right there. Look how young
this defense is scary. They're just scratching the surface.
Also, they're exciting. They don't just stop you. They don't just sack you, but they are scintillating to watch. They're really exciting to watch. The pick sixes, the sacks and bunches, the forced fumbles, the guys catch a ball, they don't go any further. They're right there.
Wait till we add Myles Garrett.
There you go. I
heard you asked him. Ike asked Myles to come over here during on Radio Row at the Super Bowl.
This certainly helps our case.
Oh, it sure does.
If he wants to play,
we don't need Myles Garrett.
Oh, we'll take him.
But I'll take him. I will definitely take him.
We'll take Myles Garrett.
Those young studs.
I think we're our own worst fan base because we're always pushing the narrative like we want to tar and feather, Nick Sirianni after the 4th game.
No, you did.
No, it wasn't me. No, I've been his biggest fan.
Now you've been his biggest.
Now before you kept saying, I've been breaking my shoulder once he started playing. I've been breaking my shoulder trying to pat myself on the back.
It was me. It was definitely me.
I didn't want to say it. I just don't want to say who it was.
Thank you.
But, we're talking about, a team. We're always on them. We don't run away. We don't throw the ball enough. Why aren't we doing this? I mean, they're only taking the narrative from us as fans. So let's push this narrative. He is an MVP.
What town are we in?
Philly, baby.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's why Ike has this great job talking about it.
The next test for Nick Sirianni is if and when Kellen Moore takes his leave, then he's got to oversee the hiring of a new offensive coordinator.
It'll be Kevin Petullo.
It'll be Kevin Petullo, right? Kevin Petullo.
Got to keep some consistency.
I completely agree. What?
Don't jump, don't put the cart before the horse yet. Come on now. I mean, we need to go out there and interview. Let's go out and interview. We're going to stay.
We just won the Super Bowl.
Kevin Petullo is already here. Kevin Petullo is already here.
But I'm just saying, he's a passing game coordinator. He wants to pass the ball. We got
we need to do a little bit better next year.
Well, we got to talk about that because Kansas City said by any means necessary we're stopping Saquon Barkley, and they held him.
We got Frankie. Let's go get Frankie right. Frankie.
He's available.
Frankie Wright. We have time to just. Are we the hiring committee? Let's go out.
One of us is on the committee.
One of us. That's it. Got to ring the show. All right, let's go once again down to New Orleans. Check in with Jason Avant, who is with Landon Dickerson.
How does it feel being a Super Bowl champion?
I don't think words can describe it. It feels awesome. I'm sure there's better words out there. Probably better SAT words, I don't know, but kind of speechless in this moment.
The week, everyone's been talking about the coaching matchup, but you guys up front, offensively and defensively, prove why you may be one of the best groups in NFL history. Can you speak to your position group?
Yeah, from the time that we won that NFC Championship game and came down here, the only thing we said was it's going to be a 0-0 game no matter what the score is. We're playing 60 minutes of football. It didn't really matter what the score was throughout that whole game. It was just a mentality of we're finishing. And I think we did a tremendous job of coming out here and doing that on both sides of the ball.
The defensive line was able to dominate the Kansas City Chiefs and make Patrick Mahomes uncomfortable all night. Talk about the defensive line and how they impacted the game without blitzing.
Hey, I'm telling you, I don't know what the blitz rate was. Iron sharpens iron. Those guys are elite athletes. They're great players. They went out there and did their job, and being able to practice and go against them every day makes them better, makes us better. Just that group of dudes. I'd hate to be on the other side of the ball from them.
Yeah. Nick Sirianni, he's been maligned all year. He can't do this, can't do that. What do you have to say for your head coach?
Hey, whatever narrative y'all want to make up, I know y'all get bored and need to write stories. Hey, the man wins. Great coach. I'll go to battle for him any day. Sorry about my language, but hey, I'm so happy for him. I know there's a lot of critics out there, but hey, this is something you can't take away from him. Nobody can.
Congratulations. Go and celebrate with your family.
Again, Jason Avant, from Clutch Gene to the man wins. And that's the bottom line. Landon Dickerson just said, I know you all got to write your stories, that's fine, but here's the thing, the man wins. And you cannot argue that when you look at his record in 4 seasons. Half of them, he's been in the Super Bowl. A quarter of them, he's won the darn thing. It's unbelievable, really, when you think about it. So what's he got? What's the secret sauce? How's he do it?
He's got to play for him.
It's called talent.
It's talent, and it's an ability to get through to guys and get them to be the best version of themselves, and really buy into that team first ethic that he preaches. And you see how it works. I mean, it's not just today. It's not just this year. For 4 years, really since the middle of that first year when they were 2-5, I think. I mean, they've just won consistently, and he gets 100% buy-in from the last guy on the practice squad to Saquon and Jalen and whoever it is.
Yeah, I threw out talent, a little tongue-in-cheek there. But in all honesty, it's not easy to coach the level of talent, particularly that they have on the offensive side of the football.
Absolutely,
when you're trying to keep everybody happy by feeding them the ball. And so they've had some times this year where he's needed to massage some egos, pull some guys to the side and ask them to be a little more selfless. And then they have to buy into that and be willing to be a part of something bigger than themselves. And they've been able to do that, and that's why this team has been successful the way that they've been successful. It's why they were able at the bye week to sort of make a transition into a completely different type of offense, becoming a run-dominant first offense versus trying to get the ball down the field with explosive plays through the air with your big-time receivers on the outside. I'm telling you, that's not easy to coach and manage. So he deserves a ton of credit for being able to do that and getting his players to buy in. The message coming out of the locker room as it pertains to Nick Sirianni when it comes from his players has always been in support of Nick Sirianni.
But here's where the dovetail with the front office and the head coach. The money side of it.
Oh, yeah.
A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon, they've all got their money. So they don't need to catch 10 balls a game. So go in there in the offseason and say, oh, okay, hey, I want my money now. Well, don't you only caught 3 balls a game? They all go in there, they got their money. Who cares how many they catch? It's all about winning.
You probably won't get that, AJ.
That's easier to say than it is to actually put into practice. We've seen a lot of talented receivers.
It helps.
Yes, it does.
It helps if you got the money.
And that's why I want to give our guys a lot of credit, because I've seen this on other teams where guys who have been given big contracts, they want to be all pro. They want to be pro bowlers. They want to be considered the best at their position. It's an ego-driven business as well. So I understand having to suppress some of that for the betterment of the team. So I'll give AJ, Devontae, Dallas Goedert, guys that have a ton of ability that could easily cry and complain to get more balls thrown their way, and they haven't. They haven't been divisive. So that's really what I'm saying, is that I think that starts with Nick Sirianni getting that message across to his players that it's about a greater good.
I think hang on one sec. Just want to take this in. This is Roger Goodell handing the Lombardi Trophy to Jeffrey Lurie and Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts and Howie Roseman, all there and team. And what a special moment. And there were so many. We heard John Clark say there's 8% of those ticket holders in that stadium are Eagles fans. 16%. 8% were Chiefs fans. And there it is for the second time that Jeffrey Lurie holds the Lombardi Trophy aloft. And sometimes for their franchise, it doesn't happen at one time. This is the second time for Jeffrey Lurie that he gets to hold it up there. Second time in 8 years, which is saying something. Second time they're in that big game in 3 years, which is saying something. And he gets to talk to Terry Bradshaw, which is the big thing. That's the bottom line. But you saw Nick Sirianni give this deep exhale and a kiss to the trophy handed to him by Jalen Hurts. And Jalen, you don't see a smile that big on Jalen Hurts. You know, unless
he'll smile now.
Yeah, he'll smile now. And he's not the kind of guy who's going to woohoo. But I'll tell you what, you can tell what he's feeling right there. And Nick Sirianni, in fact, Nick Sirianni's a little more shell-shocked, subdued than is Jalen Hurts.
Might be the last time you see Jalen smile until they win it again.
Yeah, you're probably right.
right.
You're probably
right. Am I right?
Is
Is this the first championship Jalen has started? I know he won one at Alabama as part of the team, but as far as the starting quarterback, even through high school, college, and now in the pros, I think this is the first time he's actually won the championship.
Start to finish, you're right.
Channel View never won anything.
Yeah.
Channel View? I don't know. I don't know if you learned something in high school,
but I mean, you know what? But 2 years ago, you said something to me, and ever since then, I've kind of looked at, I looked at how this team approaches Nick Sirianni. You said that this team plays hard for him, and to have a team play hard for you through thick and thin, ups and downs, whatever. That's that's a unique talent to have as a coach, to be able to get those guys going in that direction. Not a lot of teams will go out there and give their all. And I look at this, they give their all the time for Nick Sirianni. So, I mean, you got to get a great coach for that.
And I really believe that part of what makes Howie Roseman a good GM, a great GM, is that he takes all that into account when he's scouting players. It's not just how fast you are, how much you can lift, what you can do in a shuttle or whatever. It's, are you a guy that when you're down 21-0, you still play hard? Right. Are you a guy that, when you've lost 3 straight games, you're going to still be committed to watching film and practicing hard? When there's adversity, how are you going to react? They go out and get players that they believe are going to fit this culture.
Right.
It's not like they're kind of teaching these guys when they get here, hey, you got to be a good teammate. They're going out and getting players they believe will fit in.
There's some teams playing basketball with the guys, when they do come in, playing one-on-one with them and stuff like that. There's something, that Nick has that a lot of coaches don't have and probably won't have, and it works perfect here with the mentality of Philadelphians and this team.
During my playing career, I played for head coaches that won close to 1,000 games. 1,000 games from Chuck Knox to Don Shula to Dick Vermeil, Marty Schottenheimer, Buddy Ryan, almost 1,000 games. Every one of those coaches was different, was totally different when they dealt with the players.
Absolutely. Yep.
When they dealt with media or anyone else. But I don't think the media really, you're there every day. I don't mean this negative. I don't think you still understand what is said in those meetings, on a Saturday night meeting before the Super Bowl. Yeah. All those things that come into play, no one really knows unless you're in that room and you live in that room and your life is all about that. So I think to a certain degree, some of the media don't understand the connection between a coach like Nick Sirianni and the players. It's different when you're not in the eye of the media.
I like how you changed it to some in the media. I appreciate that.
Not all.
Yeah, no, but he meant you.
And you touched on a guy that I think deserves a ton of credit for where this team is at getting his second Super Bowl, and Howie Roseman.
Oh, no question.
Howie Roseman and what he's done as a personnel guy, as a capologist, to have this team in the position that they're in since he regained his footing as the general manager and the chief guy, number 2 guy under Jeffrey Lurie. 3 Super Bowls, 2 different coaches, 2 different starting quarterbacks, 3 if you want to throw Wentz in there along with Nick Foles, to put the rosters he's put together. And sometimes it was a free agency roster. That 17 Super Bowl team, that was a team that I didn't expect to come together. Yeah, they came in, they got it done. Even the 2022 team had a bunch of veteran players that aren't here now that was here then. He's done it 3 different ways. This is a young team that he's been able to put together. He went out and made some moves that were unconventional. You don't normally pay free agent running backs at 27 years old, the type of money he paid Saquon Barkley last year. But they saw the need, they saw the fit, and it has worked out for him. Howie Roseman and what he's done.
How about the AJ trade?
And then the AJ trade that he made.
That was brilliant.
Figuring out a way to get all these guys signed under the salary cap and then replenish the talent on the defensive side of the football. I mean, Howie Roseman deserves a lot of credit for where this team is at and winning their second Super Bowl.
I'm going to give him more than credit. I'm going to give him a chance to talk to John Clark. I think that's pretty darn good. We'll take a break. We come back as we continue Howie Roseman with John Clark about the second championship for this storied franchise. Jordan Davis and teammates as the celebrating continues at the Superdome in New Orleans. The Eagles big winners, 40-22, and the score doesn't even indicate how much they thumped the Kansas City Chiefs, the 2-time defending champion, 4-time champions overall, but they were the 2-time defending champs. And the Eagles took it to them. Took them out to the woodshed, in fact. And Landon Dickerson and Saquon Barkley. And Saquon, he talks about how the bottom line, to him is winning. That's all he cares about. You saw that smile on his face.
No question.
And that was all you needed
ring,
to
baby.
see.
Got the
about
ring
the
now.
ring. He got it. And almost, the Chiefs played right into the Eagles' hands, seemingly. Sure, yeah, we're going to run this guy. We're going to run him big time. Stop him, stop. Yeah, we'll stop him. Here's Jalen Hurts.
You know, if you're a defense, you're like, all right, we're not going to let Saquon beat us. We haven't seen Jalen have a game like this where the passing game is really elite like it was today. Now, we've all seen him do it. Some do it against Pittsburgh, some do it against Washington. But if you're a defense, like, what do you feel like you have a better chance of doing?
Pick your poison.
Yeah.
Pick your poison. They picked Saquon, and Jalen made him pay.
Yeah, and listen, today wasn't Saquon's day. It just wasn't. Spags just was not going to allow Saquon to control this game. But we're not here without 26. This season has been about
no question.
26.
MVP.
Yes. And I'm glad he was able to get that, what is it, the overall rushing record?
The winner's record.
Yeah, he got the winner's record, but I think he broke Terrell Davis's record as well as far as rushing yards on the season. So I know today wasn't a quote-unquote Saquon day, but my goodness, where would we have been this year without number 26?
Let me get to Howie Roseman, who is with John Clark moments ago at the Superdome. John.
All right, we are here with Howie Roseman. My goodness, a complete team. How proud are you of everybody, the way they locked in?
I think that's the exact right way to say it, John. Really proud of our players, our coaches, our staff. Can't wait to get back to Philadelphia with that trophy again.
Yeah,
again.
And you put together an incredible roster, but it also takes guys being unselfish. And they all just said, even on the defensive front, unselfish play, not going for sacks. How proud are you of that part of this team?
Yeah, I'm incredibly proud of Coach Sirianni. You know, what he goes through, and I work with him every day, and he's a special guy. And he has this saying, you can't be great without the greatness of others. And I think that's our team. You know, that saying, certainly, I can't play, I can't call the plays, so I can't be a world champion unless those guys execute. And so I think this is for our city. You know, when you do it once, sometimes people think it's a fluke. When you do it twice, they can't take it away from you, brother.
Final question for you. 5 years ago, you drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. Did you honestly envision that this could happen, Jalen leading this team to a Super Bowl?
Yeah, you know, when you draft quarterbacks, that's all you think about. You know, you think about them being world champions, and I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. All of us, everyone on this team has stories of determination, persistence, being questioned, and being a world champ.
You want to tell Philadelphia something?
Can't wait to get home with the trophy.
Thank you, Howie.
And that'll be tomorrow in the parade later in the week. Howie Roseman, the Executive Vice President and General Manager of the Philadelphia Eagles. I think he deserves a promotion. Should Jeffrey promote him above himself? I don't think that's going to happen. Probably won't. Yes, John.
I'd like to chime in with a little story about Howie, and I was telling you guys earlier before we went on the air. Bill Berge passed away Christmas Day last year. And Howie reached out to Mickey Berge, passing along her condolences. And this is how Howie connects, not only with the present players, but the alumni and pretty much a lot of people that it goes under the radar. So he reached out before the championship game against Washington to Mickey Berge and said, hey, we're probably going to, if we win the game, we're going to go down to New Orleans, and I want to connect with that Super Bowl 15 team that lost. And does Bill have anything that he left behind, that I could have to connect with the Super Bowl 15 team? She said, yeah, she's got this medallion. So Jake Berge, her son, took the medallion down to the NovaCare Center. Howie took it, representing our Super Bowl 15 team, gave it to Zach Bond. Zach has been wearing that medallion that Bill Berge got when he was in his first Pro Bowl player. So this is how Howie connects not only with the present-day players.
Wow. There it is, right there.
Zach. That's Bill Berge's making All-Pro, the medallion. Zach Bond is wearing that.
He had every autograph signing I went to.
Just to connect with the former players, and they got a great player like Zach Bond. But Howie is connecting with everybody. It's, he didn't have to do all the things he did. It goes to show the character of the man right there.
I think it keeps the franchise intact through the generations, through the years. That's why I said before, I never saw Steve Van Buren play, but I sure as hell am not going to forget Steve Van Buren from the 48-49 team, and Bednarik and Tommy McDonald from the 60 team, and on through the generations. It's important, and I think beautiful thing by you, by Mickey Berge, by Howie Roseman, that he recognized that, and that leads to this, the continuity. That leads to Nolan Smith going nuts, Jeremiah Trotter Jr.
Get it in there.
Can you believe that, man? He
getting
on the
into
field
the
with us,
game.
man.
Get in there.
And that's just phenomenal. And that's what happens when you win a championship. You get to smoke cigars in the locker room. You know.
Well, you know what though? Also,
are those Ashtons?
You know what,
you
though?
tell me, Jaws.
And Jaws and Barrett can attest to this. We are former players, former Eagles, but the Eagles make sure that this thing stays intact like a family.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Yep.
There's a family atmosphere around the Philadelphia Eagles. There's something about being a part of that. And they don't necessarily just say that. They really do embrace that, and they go out there and try to display that. And they go out of their way to make sure alumni, past players, no matter what generation of player you're from, that we all stay connected. And I when you think about that situation with the Berge family, you know, I can remember Howie Roseman contacted me a few years ago when my mother passed away, and they found out about it, that he gave me a personal phone call wishing me condolences when he didn't have to do that.
Same
you know,
here.
so
Same
yeah.
here.
Yeah, let me say,
They do that. They do things like that.
This is something that didn't exist before Jeff Lurie bought the Eagles. When Norman Brayman owned the Eagles, you know, the Eagles Hall of Fame it stopped existing. They didn't put any new players in. He didn't care. There was no posters of great players from the past up at the NovaCare or at the LINQ. When you go in the LINQ in the entranceway, and it's like a museum of Eagles history, none of that happened when Norman Brayman had the present and past of the franchise completely disconnected. Jeff Lurie, it's important for him to embrace the history, almost a century of history of this franchise, and he's gone out of his way to do it since he bought the team. And I think that's a really important thing for a team that's been around this long.
I agree with you. I agree 100%.
By the way, have you seen this kind of celebrating before in a football locker room?
Well, I did. We did like that, but it was cigars and all that stuff, but it was the cell phones and stuff wasn't like that. It was that old. It was that long ago.
It's a
cell phone, yeah.
Barrett was dancing with a payphone.
Looks like the Phillies with who's the guy who wore
Zach right there, man.
I was getting pages. That's what I was getting.
And you know what I love about this team, that they're champions. This feels more sustainable.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a young ball club. You know, we joked about dynasty and all that, but they really do have an opportunity to go out there and do something special. This doesn't have to be the only one.
Yep.
Right? And you know, Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie aren't going to rest on their laurels when it comes to adding talent to this team. That's why I brought up the whole Myles Garrett thing. They want to continue to add trophies to that trophy case.
Yeah, they're not done yet.
You're right. The other thing is, and I've been seeing this quote around on social media, and I repeat it about now, and it comes from the late, great Flyers head coach, Fred Shero, who said right before they won their first of 2 straight Stanley Cups, guys, we win today, we walk together forever, as you do with your teammates, you do with your teammates, you do with your Steelers
I can't get rid of him. I'm playing with him too. Yeah.
You're right, exactly. And so it shall be and will be with this Eagles team and the teams that go forward that are championship teams. You're connected to Jeremiah Trotter. You're connected to
Look at Howie dancing.
Whoa, hold it.
Who's that pocket? Who's
Back to the exciting whites. Look at him. Look at how Jeffrey Lurie is there.
Jeffrey Lurie, you know what? Hey, you know what? They were bar mitzvah. They know what's going on. Come on, man.
Get out of the chairs.
Jeffrey, I tell you, that's a lot of offbeat.
Tell you what.
That's a lot of off rhythm.
Come on, yeah. You know that. Son of a bitch.
Enjoy. You're the world champions.
Okay.
Enjoy it.
That's what it's all about.
And by the way, did I say that trophy should be bigger? Have I said that? Come on, man. Jaws, come on, look at it. If Jeffrey Lurie can hold that trophy in his hand, it's a
What do you want?
No, I want the shape is fine, Jaws. I want it bigger.
Well, I mean, if you look at the hockey one, they want to drink out of it. At least not drinking out of it, and everybody's
No. I want it like that. I want it as heavy as the hockey one. I want it as big as the hockey one.
You always find something to complain about.
You're right. It's the greatest sport in the world, and I want that trophy bigger.
Oh, you know, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
go ahead.
Am I going to call Roger Goodell?
Camera 4, I'm just going to say this. Excuse me, everybody. Excuse me. This is not red. It's not red. It's pink. Maybe you want to call it salmon. It's not red.
Well, it kind of looks
I would
red.
never trade away my Eagles. Come on now.
I think
Just think about this. Is pink or mauve, whatever you want to call it.
Would you take it off? Would you take it off? Would you take it off? Would you take it off for all the Eagles fans who are upset out there?
That would mean I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. This is not red.
My phone's blown up because people think
My
it's red.
phone's blowing up because you wore red. I mean pink.
Come on.
I mean salmon.
Why'd you wear red today?
See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking. Y'all got me sweating and everything. I already made the commitment right now. You see, I got blue glasses. I got blue glasses because I wanted to fit in with Mike and Jaws.
Yeah, thank you.
So I got blue glasses.
Give Mike the credit.
It took all season, but I did it. It's not red.
It really is
it's
salmon.
Pink.
Not about you,
salmon,
Barrett.
whatever you want to call it.
It really is.
And then there was him.
You can see that the streets are continuing to swell as the celebration will continue into the wee small hours of the morning in Philadelphia and surrounding areas.
Izzy, go home, boy.
And we'll probably still be on the air.
Not yet. It's only 11:35. We got a lot more celebrating and more interviews. We have not heard from Jalen Hurts. We have not heard from Nick Sirianni. We have not heard from A.J. Brown. By the way, you met A.J. Brown went on one of his little funky walkabouts, and Nick Sirianni had to deal with him again. So I mean, right? Even that's an example.
I don't even remember that.
Oh, you didn't see it on the sideline?
No.
You don't even remember. I'm just saying, it just goes to show what Nick is forgotten. We'll take a break. We got much more for you. Eagles Super Bowl 59 champions.
I thought you forgot about it.
That was good.
Electrifying moment presented by our friends at Toyota. And this is Jalen Hurts, named Super Bowl 59 MVP. Look at the numbers tonight. What would you rather have? The column on the right and a huge thumping of the Chiefs, or the ones on the left, which are pretty darn good, but not like what he did tonight and how he commandeered this offense through that stout Chiefs defense. Let's face it, it's a pretty good D. Certainly their run D was darn good. Well, let's hear from him. Here is the Super Bowl MVP in New Orleans.
Yeah, well, I think it definitely took a team effort, it took a group effort, and only thing I can think about is all the effort, all the work that was put in over the course of time. And I think we had a focused group out there. You know, offense was able to score points, to take advantage of opportunities, you know, just enough to put points on the board. And then defense played their ass off. They played how they played all year, you know, and I truly believe offense wins games, but defense wins championships. And how that defense has been able to play, it's a great testament to them.
Jalen, how did it feel when the confetti fell to win your second Super Bowl?
Should be second. Still processing it, you know. It's been a long journey. It's been a journey of ups and downs and highs and lows, and I've always stayed true to it in the end, and having this vision of just being the best that I can be, and that evolving over time into this desire and this flame inside to win. And you don't do great things without the guys around you. So the effort, the work, always leaning on that, trusting in that, and trusting the process, and staying the course, and sticking to the script.
Hey Jalen, congrats on a win.
Thank you.
You became only the fourth quarterback in NFL history to lose their first Super Bowl and then go on to win one. There's been at least 30 guys in their career who haven't managed to do that. I think that speaks to your mental toughness, and obviously even the first Super Bowl, you still played great. What does that just mean to you to hear that out loud, and obviously to silence some doubters, because there have been some throughout the season?
Well, everything comes with it, you know, and I've always found a thrill in any doubt and any questioning and any opinions. It's always been something that I've embraced, and I don't want it to change now. It's because of the results. So just running your race and playing with purpose. You know, this is what I'm called to do in this season of my life, and I'm gonna give it all I have. and try my best to leave no stone unturned.
Jalen, was that part of the game plan from the beginning that you could throw against the Kansas City Chiefs and go long with your receivers?
It was just something that kind of came. It was something that kind of came. You know, I just think it's something that kind of came. You know, we just was able to execute. And I think the main thing I'll point to is you being able to find ways to win in multiple ways, you know. We've been able to be dominant on the ground, and we've been able to be efficient in the pass game and do what needs to be done when it needs to be done, you know. And I think over the course of our year, you guys have heard me say, just because we don't doesn't mean we can't. And when you hear a statement like that, I think it always comes down to, well, what is your mission? And why are you doing this? I'm doing it to win. You know, I do it to win. This team approaches it just to do the same thing, and that's what it's about. You know, I'm not going to look back at anything and remember anything that someone said about me or an opinion that was had. I'm going to think about the championships that we won.
Jalen, was there a moment in that game when it kind of becomes like, I'm over here. Let's make a statement here. Like, we're doing this to one of the best teams, best franchises in recent memory?
No. It's about us. It's about us and how we approach things, and it's never getting too high, never getting too low, and just processing it. You know, you got to be able to use these experiences that you've had in the past because they're all formative for the future, and I think we've been able to do that. I think we've been able to do that. So I give a lot of credit too, man. I think just from a chemistry standpoint, that all those Georgia guys and all the familiarity we have on our team, how that defense plays, they've had that continuity for a very long time, and so I think they've been able to carry that on from Georgia to Philly. And honestly, the same thing on offense, being able to build off of prior relationships and be all in on this one thing, you know. And I know Saquon's new to the bunch, but we've all watched him play throughout his college career. We've always known the type of player he is, the best back of our time, and let's put it all together.
Hey, Jalen, David Andrade with EcoSport. We saw you having a moment with your family after the win. What does it mean to them having this big win for you?
We'll see. I mean, I know everyone's excited. Everyone has been there along the journey, too. You know, everyone's been there along the journey. I think it's been a ride. It's been a fun ride, and I've embraced every step. I took great pride in never backing down from a challenge. Always turning my negatives into positives, turning my weaknesses and making them my strengths. And it's taken great effort and determination to evolve my game over time and just continue to grow and improve. And I know my family's been there every step of the way.
Jalen Hurts talking to the media, the MVP of Super Bowl 59. And I thought it was interesting what he said about looking back on his wins versus his losses, and what Tom Brady said during the telecast. He said, you know, I've won all these Super Bowls, but I still think of the ones that got away, the ones that I lost. And you think that was so negative. I can't believe it. And the guy's such a competitor. So maybe I understand a little bit. But then to hear Jalen Hurts say, no, I'm thinking about the good stuff. I'm thinking about the ones I won, battling back and winning, not the ones I lost. By the way, Nick Foles of that said, tweet, quote, it's really cool that Tom Brady got to be there for the Eagles' 2 Super Bowl wins. He might be a good luck charm. Nicky Six.
Nick loves having fun with it.
Love that. That was great. That was from Nick Foles. So we are waiting for Nick Sirianni and other interviews. And when you look at this team, and there's Jalen in the locker room now.
You know what's funny? You could take that interview he just had right there and go back to training camp 2 years ago, and he'd still be saying the same exact thing.
He's nothing if not consistent.
Right.
He is consistent.
Keep the main thing. It serves him well. He is the most even-keel superstar I've ever seen. His ability to not let the moment get to him, to not let the stakes get to him. He just goes out and does his thing. And
wins.
He's just, that's really who he is. I mean, there's no highs and lows. There's no highs and lows. There's just flatline Jalen.
So when you look at where he is right now in the NFL, and Ike spoke to this a little bit. He just doused Saquon Barkley with a beer. Saquon Barkley bare-chested and rocking and rolling in the locker room. When you look at Jalen Hurts and where he is, and remember, he was an MVP of the league contender a couple of years ago, and then he kind of fell from view. Is he back at that level again when you get a Super Bowl MVP?
Absolutely. No doubt about it. The way he's played in the playoffs, the way he's led his football team, coming up as big as he did in the biggest game, that you can play in. He came up big. Of course, people are going to elevate his game big time.
If he ever left that level, though,
he did. He won 8 games with interception at the end of last season. This year, so
the collapse was mainly on the defense. I just think it was it was.
You got to be.
I know they the league in turnovers.
I mean, he had the whole team fell apart the last 8 games, and he was part of that. But I don't think there was ever any question that he could still be the player he was.
I didn't say question that, but I questioned
22 and 21 and the first half of 23 he was also in the MVP running.
Correct.
Through the Bills game. So we're talking about 6 games at the end of the year where the whole thing fell apart, and he was part of that. But
and the beginning of this year.
And the beginning
the first 4 games of this season wasn't.
Also, let's remember something else. Thank you for bringing that up, Ike, as we see A.J. Brown there with Jalen. There's the 2 guys, best friends. They're best buddies. That's what happens, They're champions together. They will always be champions together, and that's the bottom line. And let's remember how we got to this point and all the work that they put in. July 24th, 200 days ago, 200 is when training camp began, and you were in the booth in the trailer at the complex, and we're all Ruben sweating, Jaws was in the shade, Barrett was sweating.
I think I had a cold beer too.
Yeah. But remember, Andy made everybody stand out in the sun. You could not stand under a tree. But to build to this point is incredible. The journey.
Playing 21 games now. 21 games. That's a haul. These guys are beat up. We'll see how it plays out. I don't look too far down the road. Between teams that usually go to the Super Bowl, except for the Chiefs, seem to stumble after they win the Super Bowl because of the length of the season. 21 games is a lot of football games. It beats up the body pretty good. So now they got to get back in that, get the rest, then get back in.
Another thing Nick's really good at is understanding what his team needs, when he needs to drive them hard. That first Wednesday before the first playoff game, they were in pads at the link. They had a 2-hour padded practice. Yeah. He felt like that's what they needed. The last 3 weeks, they've had walkthroughs on Wednesday. I think he's had such a good feel for when to drive them hard, when to take it easy on them, what they need for their legs to be fresh. And I think it's one of the reasons they had so much success. He's got a great feel for that.
I did this thing with Jalen, right? I think he's always going to be somewhat of an acquired taste, right? I think when some people look at the quarterback position, they already have their perception of what an elite quarterback should look like. And a lot of it is based on measurables. How far you can throw the ball, how much of an elusive runner are you? All these other things that don't necessarily rank as high as winning should rank. And when you ask where is Jalen Hurts, when you look at the quarterbacks in this league, and I said this, if he wins the Super Bowl, let alone become the Super Bowl MVP, there's only one quarterback that I would put in front of him. And that's the guy he just beat tonight.
Yeah.
All those other guys with the strong arm and the MVPs on their resume, all those things.
5,000 yards.
They get every opportunity to beat Patrick Mahomes as well. And they don't. This guy has done it. And he's done it on the biggest stage, right? And he's gone out and he's raised his game to that level. So why wouldn't he be considered an elite quarterback? What do you want from your quarterback in this league? Do you want a bunch of empty stats, empty numbers that don't necessarily lead to a championship? Or do you want a quarterback that's going to always have you in contention for a title? And then when he needs to be at his best on the biggest stage, he's able to do that. Is that not an elite quarterback?
Yeah.
You can have the Joe Burrows, the Josh Allens, the Lamar Jacksons, all those guys all you want to.
Numbers quarterback.
This kid has done nothing but win football games since he's come into this league, and he's gone to 2 Super Bowls. Now he has a Super Bowl win under his resume. And by the way, For him to be the second-round draft pick that doesn't have all those measurables that those other guys have, he certainly wins more than those guys do.
Sure, hands down.
Yes.
Hands down. All right, we got to take another break. Take a look at the right side of the screen. We just lost it. There's a party going on in Philadelphia, and it's going to be going on all week long. When we continue, we will hear from Brandon Graham about his return from a triceps injury that cost him the most of his season, and Nick Sirianni steps to the podium to talk about his elevation to the elite level as well.
Right. They're all elite now.
Continuing post-game live, that looks like Northeast Philadelphia. Looks like Frankfurt and Cottman-ish. I'm not going to say it is because of the distance of the shot, but that's Northeast Philadelphia.
You would know.
I'm not going to say for sure. It looks like...
it looks tamed.
No, it's building. It's built. You see that? That's Broad Street looking up it's looking down.
That doesn't look tamed. What are they shooting?
It's for safety purposes. I'm sure.
Jaws, is that your car that's upside down?
Yes, it is.
Let's have none of that. Let's have none of that. We want everything to be nice, calm, cool, and collected, but very, very joyous. Drive of the game presented by Granite Run Buick. And this was a 7-play, 69-yard drive in 3:25, resulting in the tush push. Jalen, I don't like calling it that.
I know it is. It's the tush.
Right there. The game was over. 7-0 Eagles.
Jahan Dotson.
How about that?
How he made a nice move getting him from Washington. There you go.
You know what?
You never know when
he really did. The guy was a former first-round draft pick. We never saw what we thought we were going to see from him. He was underused. Jalen never really liked to go to him. But what has happened that in the end of the season, Barrett, and the postseason, that he has come to display his talents?
Because you got Brown and Smith, and that's where all the defense is looking. So he's over there by himself, one-on-one, and he's a first-round pick. He can get, he can get loose. He can get open one-on-one against just about anybody in the league.
And
so
let me tell you,
they just looked over there, got it to him. That's all. And Jalen showed his maturity and saying, all right, I'm not going to force the ball to Smitty. I'm not going to force the ball to A.J. Brown. I'm going to go to the guy that's open, and it just happened to be him.
One thing about Jahan Dotson, and I guess people thought it was a lousy trade. Give him a third-round pick for him. He had such a great attitude all during the season. He wasn't getting the ball. There was a stretch of 6 games. He didn't catch a pass. I don't think he got targeted, but he just kept working hard. I was really impressed. The positive attitude, worked hard, practiced hard, and he just kept saying, my time's going to come, and when it does, I'm going to be ready, and he was.
Nick Sirianni at the podium in New Orleans at the Superdome on this great win.
Second row. Hi, Coach. Congratulations on an amazing win. This team has been on a tear since the bye week. What had changed from before and after to allow you to get to this level?
Yeah, I think we just stuck to our process. I think a lot of things got blown, kind of 2 and 2. The outside world, we just, had an opinion on what was going on and everything there, and we just stuck to our process. And got better from it. Did some things a little differently, got better from a couple things. I think at the end of the day, you saw this team embrace adversity throughout the entire year. Now, it's hard to say that when you won 16 out of your last 17, but there was adversity. There's adversity constantly. And I think we did a good job of embracing that, the ups and downs of a season, and getting better from the things that we went through.
Middle aisle, second row.
Congratulations, Coach. Can you tell us what went through your head in the first drive when the OPIA flag on 4th down was coming without getting fined, maybe?
Would you say that one more time?
Without getting fined, can you tell us what went through your head?
I try to tell myself before every game, the calls have a way of evening themselves out. But sometimes in the heat of the moment, sometimes in the heat of the moment, it's hard to convince yourself of that, and the calls had a way of evening themselves out. And so mad about that at the first, but again, these guys are making split-second decisions, and that was an all-star crew out there. They earned the right to be here too at the Super Bowl, and I thought they did a good job, regardless of what I thought about that one. I wasn't able to see everything. I'm a little biased, and I don't think it should be called, but he had a better view of it, so I'm sure he made the right call there.
On behalf of the great people of Alliance, Ohio, congratulations on winning the Super Bowl. What does it mean to you to be the first Mountain Union alum to win the Super Bowl as a head coach? And also, after your Gatorade shower, after the game, you took a moment, looked in the sky, and said thank you. Can you describe that moment for us?
Yeah, just all glory to God. You know, he gives us the talents to be in these situations, and you know, blessed our team with talents, blessed myself with the talent to be able to coach football and the opportunity to be able to coach football. So just gratitude right there. You know, and Mount Union taught me how to win, that's for sure. And so grateful to everybody at Mount Union, Coach Karras, all my teammates there, you know, everyone that helped me kind of develop from there.
Far right up against the curtain. Nick, congratulations. Back in Brazil, you told me iron sharpens iron in regards to Quinyon Mitchell being ready for his NFL debut because he went against your great wide receiver group in practice. Do you think that this was one of the keys to the Philadelphia Eagles becoming Super Bowl champions?
Yeah, I think the key to that point is the intensity at which we practice at. And when you're practicing with that kind of intensity, you know, training camp, you're getting those matchups, Q versus AJ and Devontae and Slay versus those guys as well. So, you know, and BG versus Lane and Jordan versus, you know, Sweaty and Nolan. And so you have no choice but to get better. And, you know, that it truly is. This is the greatest team sport there is. Iron sharpens iron. I've been saying a lot today and throughout the whole year that you cannot be great without the greatness of others. That applies to coaches. That applies to player to player. I mean, look at the special year. Saquon, you know, has been a special player his entire career, but he had, you know, he was able to make history this year with the things that he did because of the special talents of the guys up front. This is the ultimate team game, and you know, I know that, and it's just, it takes selflessness to be able to you know, Jalen said it awesome one time, just because we're not winning a certain way, you know, it's crazy. Sometimes we're answering questions on how we win. It's hard to win in this league. It's a struggle every week to win in this league. And it's just because we're not winning a certain way or the way people perceive that we should win doesn't mean we can't. And, you know, today we needed, you know, the efforts of everybody. So I don't know, I kind of rambled on that question, but you can't. Long story short, you can't be great without the greatness of others.
Nick Sirianni, Ramble On. That's a Led Zeppelin song and a very good one, as Ruben knows. But here's the thing. If you're wondering why there were no Philadelphia reporters in there, they're in the locker room talking to the players. They're talking to players at other podiums. So we got to hear reporters from England, Germany, Brazil, and, of course, the country of Alliance, Ohio. Which is really nice.
Of Ohio.
But Nick Sirianni just posed a question about how they answered questions about the way in which they won, and that's what I was been meaning to ask the four of you, because they were 2-2 going into that bye. They came out of the bye with a win, but we hammered them for the win. It was 20-16.
He got his haircut, Michael.
He got his haircut. It was
You
goofy.
didn't like that?
I didn't like it. I love your haircut, but when he got his haircut, it was goofy. And I thought, well, this team's in a tailspin compared to where it should be.
I said, easy, Mike, easy.
And this guy got his hair. Anyway, it was a 20-16 win, and we were questioning them in the manner in which they won. They beat the stuffing out of the Giants 28-3, and then week 8 at Cincinnati 37-17, and that was the first time I thought Cincinnati was kind of still in it. Burrow was playing amazing, and they beat him 37-17. So it took 8 weeks.
You have an entire new defensive coaching staff. You have 7 new defensive starters. You have some new guys on the offensive line. It was a new team. And those first 4 weeks, and I think it was Bobby King, the linebackers coach I was talking to on Thursday, he said, you know, these guys don't play in the preseason. So they get to the first couple games of the regular season. We're still trying to figure out who we are, what we do well. And it took a month. It took until the bye week. And that's when they kind of said, you know what, we're going to lean on Saquon. He's going to get 50 carries a game, and that's who we're going to be. Defense, run the ball. But it just takes some time, and I think that's what we saw those first few weeks.
And also, you know, we looked at them all during camp. We had, you know, complained, the previous year about we don't do enough motion. We're the last team in the NFL as far as motions, and we saw all the orbit routes with, you know, Saquon Barkley, and, you know, We didn't do any of that. That means none of that fancy, none of that window dressing worked for us. What worked for us is going out there and hitting people in the mouth. And once we changed to that theory, once we changed that mode of operations, then things went where we needed to go. We need to hit guys in the mouth, drive them off the ball, run the ball, play physical football, and out of that, here we are, world champions.
Yeah, but you know what else we got is a rivalry. We got a rivalry with Kansas City, which I think is really cool. And when you look at the rivalry between, and yes, I'll say it, the Celtics and the Sixers and the Lakers, that happened because they would meet every year in the finals. Yeah. And now you got the Eagles and you got Kansas City. It wouldn't surprise me if they met again in the finals. That really is what establishes a rivalry. It would be pretty cool. And the
See you next year, Big Red.
Eagles beat them again.
I would never doubt Andy and Patrick Mahomes. They got a lot of work to do.
They do.
You know, that team is just not explosive. It's gotten a little older. They've had to patch some things in there this year with guys like DeAndre Hopkins, keeping a guy like Juju Schuster-Smith around, who is he's about a cheeseburger away from being a tight end. Right. Just saying, because he's not going to run past.
You see them old legs on him, you know.
And their tight end looks old. I mean, Kelsey does not look like an elite player.
So I say all of that to say is I believe the Eagles will continue to be there competing for a title. But I think Kansas City has some work to do. They really do. When you look at that roster, I'm not saying they can't get it done. Brett Veach out there, they do a great job with personnel. But that roster isn't a championship roster. They fought tooth and nail to get to the Super Bowl by the skin of their teeth, and they could have lost easily to Buffalo. What you saw was two teams. They were in the championship game, but they're not on the same level. No. The Eagles are a level or two ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs.
It'll be tough beating Buffalo next year, keeping it from a championship. But, you know, if that's what's got to be, it's got to be.
Dynasty.
Ike Reese is here. Barrett Brooks is here. Ron Jaworski, Reuben Frank, John Clark.
Drink up.
Landon Dickerson.
Everyone.
Slamming a beer with the Lombardi Trophy. Oh, yeah. Yes, indeed.
There's ESP videotaping it right in front.
All the music sounds good right now.
It really does. We come back, and in that locker room, Brandon Graham, we're going to hear from him in a moment. Two-point conversion presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Items that Reuben thought would contribute to an Eagles win. Keep Mahomes contained in the pocket. He had 25 rushing yards, 2 picks, 6 sacks. I'd say that's contained in the pocket. And then big plays in the passing game, Rube. 5 completions of 20 or more yards.
Yeah, I like both of these, how they came out. I mean, I thought they did a terrific job on Mahomes. He had nowhere to go. He tried at the end of the game. He had a couple scrambles. You see those 25 yards. But for the most part, when it was 34-0, he had done nothing as far as moving around, making plays on the run. They contained him. They hit him. They did everything they had to. And the big plays, I thought it was important that it wasn't just dinking and dunking. And, you know, Jalen, 5 plays of 20 yards or more, long touchdown to Devontae. They got the ball down the field. They were vertical with it. And Nick was very aggressive in the passing game. The 1 4th down was called back by a penalty, but I like the way the offense functioned from that standpoint.
By the way, that's just one of Rube's observations. You can get them all post-game by going to NBCSportsPhiladelphia.com. Back to the locker room. Here's number 55, the double nickel, injured in week 12 in November. We thought we would never see him again until the very last game. Here is Brandon Graham.
What's up, man?
Brandon Graham, the performance of the defensive line. I don't think you blitzed one time and you got relentless pressure. Did you envision this?
Yes. I mean, I knew we've been working all off season. We've been working every day. I'm about to come right now. I've been trying. But, man, I've just been enjoying the whole week. The guys were so focused. Everybody wanted it, and I'm so happy that we finally got there.
To think about your story going through Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes to win 2 Super Bowls. Man, how impressive is that?
Hey, you got to go against the best in order for you know it to really count. Everybody can't take this away because we went against a guy that was going for a 3-peat. He took one from us early the first time. This time around, we just made sure we we was more focused than we was the last time.
You have you and 3 others on this team. You're the first to win multiple championships in Philly in 50 years. How meaningful is that for you and the city?
It's very meaningful because, shoot, them are the only 2 that I ever got in my career, 2 championships, and Philly got 2. I'm glad we can do it together, and I can't wait to celebrate with y'all back at home, baby. E-L-G-S-E, or whatever she said. You know, that's what she said, but I'm going to say it right. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
You're coming back, aren't you?
Hey, let me tell you this. I ain't there yet, but just know, Philly, I'm about to celebrate crazy with y'all. Hey.
Brandon Graham taking a very, very good-natured shot at the esteemed mayor of our fair city, Sherelle Parker, who, in leading an Eagles cheer a couple of weeks ago, got the letters jumbled up a little bit.
It's a challenging word. It happens.
Yeah, but you know what I love? She loved it. She owned it, and her staff behind her thought it was awesome, and I thought it was great. Right on, Mayor Parker. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll hear from Saquon Barkley in a moment.
Say Sean.
Say Sean. Broad Street Live, 12:14 and 54 seconds on morning after, really. We're now into Monday, the morning after the Eagles have won their 2nd Super Bowl title, their 2nd in 8 years, their 2nd Super Bowl appearance in the last 3 years as they decimate the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22, and just being there, just feeling that all the way from Broad Street to here.
I was trying to see if my son was down there.
He's there.
I saw him for a second.
He's there.
I called him. I texted him. Here's On the Run.
Zoom lens.
Presented by Duncan. America runs on Duncan. Saquon Barkley. Barrett and I saw him take a little Duncan, too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they were drinking a little Dunkin' in the game.
2024.
2,500 yards.
How about that? That is the most yards ever in the NFL combined regular season and playoffs.
It's almost what Jalen had last year.
It's a nice consolation prize from 2105.
Yeah.
Saquon needs a vacation.
That is.
He needs
By
some
the
time.
way, I don't know where I know where you were. You wanted him to play that last game.
Yes.
I don't know. I know I did.
No, I left rested him.
You did not.
Yeah.
Now, looking back on it, everything worked out
That's
pretty
exactly
good.
right. Why I didn't want him to play was because of what he's doing in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Be healthy.
I just know we better be lucky we won.
Yeah.
I definitely brought it up, bro.
I was ready.
Well, I don't want to go back in another, parallel universe and find out like he hurt himself. That would not be good. Let's hear from Saquon Barkley, the man of the hour. One of them.
Saquon Barkley?
Saquon Barkley. Saquon, affectionately known. Here he is in the locker room.
Saquon, when you envision what it could be like with the Eagles, did you honestly picture this first year?
If you think about it, when I signed here, this was the goal. You envision it, you have dreams about it, but when it comes to life, it shocks you. And God is good. I'm just happy to be here and celebrate with everybody. Shout out to everybody back in Philly. Couldn't do without you guys. Much love.
How special is this team, the unselfishness of everybody?
Super special. We knew what we have in this organization with this team, and why not our dynasty start now?
Congrats. Thank you.
I need to point out how difficult what John Clark is doing is. You need to understand. It's about 100 degrees in there. He's wearing a shirt, a blazer, carrying a microphone and a bag, and he's running around trying to get all these interviews, as he always does. Ruben knows the experience from training camp and having covered this team. Ike's been there. We've all been there. Just bravo, John. Awesome,
Great
awesome
work, John.
job
Great
as
job.
usual. We'll take a timeout. So much more ahead.
Say Sean.
We got big time bats. I got to tell you about big time bats. Oh my goodness. To honor the Eagles Super Bowl title, BigTimeBats.com. That's BigTimeBats.com is releasing the exclusive Eagles Super Bowl 59 champions, the Duke football, and facsimile signature footballs. Go to BigTimeBats.com to get your football right now. Landon Dickerson.
Still drinking?
Still drinking, man. I mean, he's a tall drink of water. Just right on down with
I think
the
it's
Lombardi.
the same video.
Yeah, I don't know, Rube. It could be a different swig. You know, it might be a different swing. By the way, do they get to take? Does each team member get to take the Lombardi home in the off season like the Stanley Cup? Come on, don't you want that? There's a birthday boy, one of them, Cooper DeJean, Saquon Barkley, both celebrating birthdays today.
Right
A.J. Brown partying. He's got the Lombardi. Bold predictions presented by Pansini and Pizzica Law Group. Here's what we thought would happen today. Let's see.
Again, I'm 0 for 20.
But you know what, Barrett? He had 2 48-yarders and a 50-yarder. He's the first kicker in Super Bowl history with 3 48-yard field goals.
He was phenomenal.
I'm going to give you a dub.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to give you a
That's a dub. You're right. And he got his groove back because of you. Jaws. Josh Sweat, 2 sacks, forced fumble. And he had 2.5 sacks, 6 tackles.
No forced fumbles.
No forced fumble, you're out.
I think I'm the best picker all year.
How about Devontae Smith, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Close.
69. I really thought that might be the winner. I really did. Ruben, the Eagles, 2 picks.
There you go.
Not
much of a bold prediction, though.
Their first 2 Super Bowl picks ever. They'd never had a pick in a Super Bowl. That's why it's bold.
Right.
That is a bold prediction.
But I'll tell you what. Look, when you look at me, I'm sorry, but yours truly wins it. What do I get?
You get a pat on the back.
Thank you.
It needs to be known.
I'm as shocked as you. I really am.
I'm 4-1. The 4-1 the last 5 weeks. That's all I got to say,
bro. I am.
Who's keeping your?
I'm 1-16 or no 1-18. 1-18.
Wow. We got to go back down to New Orleans.
21 games.
Because
You're
we
1
got
in
to
20,
check
Barry.
in with our man on the
They play
scene.
20.
2 men on the scene. John Clark and Jason Avant. John, go ahead. What do you think tonight? Are you happy, John?
Well, first of all, yeah, absolutely. Incredible. And Jason and I just keep looking at this above the Superdome. Super Bowl champs. You've got pictures of the Eagles. And really, there could have been a couple of MVPs. Jalen Hurts was fantastic, obviously close to 300 total yards. But Jason Avant, this defense, we were sitting with each other and we're like, the score is 24-0 against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Were you surprised at all about how much they dominated the Chiefs?
I'm a little bit surprised, but our defense played outstanding. The Chiefs have a lot of work to do. They've been smoke and mirrors pretty much the entire season, knowing that they didn't have the offensive line to protect. So they've been like relegated to this run-pass style, which has never been Coach Reid's thing. And they were able to get to this game, but the Eagles exposed them totally. Mike Caliendo is going to be seeing Milton Williams, Jalen Carter, and those guys in his sleep tonight. So the Eagles dominated up front.
And talking to some of the defensive linemen, and you probably got the same vibe, these guys were saying, we didn't think this was going to be close. This team, they seemed to come in with the ultimate confidence that they were the much better team and we can blow this team out.
Yeah, they definitely believed it from the start because they didn't blitz at all. So they knew that they were able to get home. Josh Sweat handled Tooney masterfully tonight. Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis with a sack. We saw everyone get in on the party. And guess what happens when you're able to rush with 4? You have 7 guys in the back that Patrick Mahomes have to contend with the entire time, and they dominated in that facet of the game. This is the best team for sure in Eagles football history, and maybe the best defense that we've seen in Eagles history as well.
Wow. And it's interesting because Andy Reid, Jeffrey Lurie, and Joe Banner, they started the whole thing in Philly with it is one on the offensive line and the defensive line. And that is basically how the Eagles beat the Chiefs and Andy Reid, is they were the bigger team on both sides of the ball, and they play bully ball, basically.
Yeah, that's what they had to do in order to win this game because, yeah, the Chiefs have the coaching experience. They have the magician at quarterback. They have all that stuff. But guess what? We punch people in the mouth in Philadelphia. And that's what the nation was able to see. It wasn't about your cute quarterback. It was about dominating up front, punching people in the mouth, making people not want to go out there. Patrick Mahomes looked like a shell of himself the entire game because those boys were hunting him. That was the theme. Let's hunt. They hunted him tonight.
Let's hunt. They certainly did. And you see all the confetti still on the field here. A lot of families with the Eagles are coming to grab some confetti. You're going to get a little confetti?
I may not get confetti, but I'm still just as happy.
Well, Jason Avant, it's really cool to see you in the locker room, see you around with the team, because you're a part of this organization. Yeah. Great receiver with the team, so that was very cool to see you out here enjoy this moment. And Eric Allen walked by.
Yeah.
He was loving the moment.
Yeah, it's crazy. In the Hall of Fame, that's 2 times now. Every time we've got an Eagle in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, we won the Super Bowl. So let's get it going. Let's get somebody else in there.
And I love how they beat the Patriots, they beat the Chiefs. You're talking about GOATs, Patrick Mahomes and Tom Brady, to get their 2 Super Bowls. Back to you.
And how about this, John? You know, we were saying that Tom Brady was there for each of those wins, so he's a good luck charm, I guess, somewhat. we better bring him along. John, last thing, buddy.
Invite him to the next one.
Great. Yes, we will. Great job, you and Jason, reporting all week, and in fact, for you, all season long. How about picking up some confetti as you say goodbye and just tossing it around? Let's just see. You got any confetti?
All right, Jason, they want us to pick up a little confetti.
Yeah, let's
get it, throw it into the camera. Jason's got bigger hands than I do.
We want to feel like we're there. Come on.
Go pick up a couple cigars.
Right into the camera.
Get right into the camera. Yay! Beautifully done. John Clark, Jason, way to be. All right, guys, we'll talk to you later. Time for report cards. I'm giving them an A+, by the way. Clark
A++.
A++. Report cards presented by Nissan. Barrett Brooks. This is the offensive side of the ball. A+. Jaws. A+. Ike. What's going on, man? Ike, you're not supposed to really grade like Professor Ike. Running back C.
Come on, Ike. We just won a Super Bowl. Give the guy a C.
Look at Ruben. Ruben's the toughest grader as you'll see. He's got 4 pluses.
We just won a Super Bowl.
Yeah. All right,
take that back. No.
Okay. So, all right, let's go to the defensive side of the ball.
There. How about that? You like that?
Go.
You like that over there?
Ruben, you ran out of pluses.
Like a true defensive guy. Ran like a true defensive guy.
I think it should be pointed out that Ruben wanted more pluses and would have run into Ike's collar. Let that happen.
I thought both coordinators were tremendous today in this game. Both of them.
Okay.
Going to lose one.
Yeah, and which brings that's report cards presented by Nissan. If the Eagles do lose one, and I know you want to go outside, but you think they're going to be okay with the under the supervision of Howie Roseman, Jeffrey Lurie, and of course Nick Sirianni.
I can only trust. The track record is laid into Super Bowl, so I can only trust what their decision will be, regardless whether it's in-house or out-house.
For me, outhouse. For me, it's important to have that thread.
It's almost not an outhouse.
It's late.
You want some continuity for Jalen. I think that's important. This will be his 6th play caller in 6 years, and you know, Patullo's a guy who's been around for a few years, since 21. He speaks his language. He knows his voice. I think that's important. Then bringing in another new guy from outside.
Yeah, I agree. There's something to having continuity. I understand that some people may want a different voice in the room. I do not. I'm sure Jalen Hurts does not want a different voice. He wants a familiar voice. And he hasn't had that luxury since high school, I believe, where he's had the same. Well, he did have it once with Shane Steichen.
For a year and a half. And they won a Super Bowl.
And you saw what he did in his second year under Shane Steichen. He was the MVP runner-up. So give him a familiar voice. This offense, particularly the passing game, will improve next year. We're going to need that because I don't know if Saquon can take the workload that he took this year. So I believe we're going to have to find those explosive plays through the passing game next year. I would certainly rather have a familiar voice.
I remember what happened the last time we did that, hired from within. It just
didn't work
for me.
Brian Johnson?
Yeah, Brian Johnson just didn't. And we're talking about familiar. This guy was familiar since he was in high school. I mean, even in junior high, you know, so I just want some guy that older guy, give a little more stability of a guy that's going to want to be here too. Frank Reich, yes.
Frank Reich.
That's the one exception.
That might be a guy.
I'd be okay with Frank Reich.
Right.
I would, because I know he and Nick Sirianni have worked together, right? So there's a working history there. Because I often also worry about, when we talk about team chemistry, it's not just the players. It also pertains to the coaches.
Yep.
And everyone respecting each other's role. Right? And so you got to bring somebody in here, if you're talking about bringing somebody in from the outside, who understands how this coaching staff works, particularly on the offensive side of the ball.
All right,
I'm going to trust Howie again.
Yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't. Does he get Executive of the Year?
He should.
Yeah,
should. Yep.
Yeah, and Saquon should have gotten MVP too. But
he should have.
Question. Final thoughts. Final thoughts about what we have just seen these past 200 days.
Eagles win the Super Bowl. Just keep it simple. Eagles won the Super Bowl, period. That's it. Best team in the NFL.
The beginning of a dynasty.
Beginning of a dynasty.
This is a young team, talented team, beginning of a dynasty.
Ike?
Yeah, I'm going to echo what y'all says. I think it's the beginning of something special.
When 53 guys believe in each other and play for each other, anything's possible.
I think it's about the journey. And when the journey ends in the way it did tonight, it is the most beautiful, joyous, and spectacular thing. It really is. But the fact when we were all at training camp and we watched the team go 2-2 in the first 4 games, and we were like, the sky's falling. Then they beat Cleveland coming out of the bye. There's only 12 more games from now. Keep going. And we saw them. All our time. We saw them barely beat Cleveland, and we were upset. But guess what? It's the journey, and that's the beautiful thing. It really is.
The essence of sports.
The essence of sports. Okay, they continue to party on Broad Street, which is where we're headed. Oh, we got Merrill Reese's final call. Okay, unless you want to do it. You do a good Merrill Reese. Here it is. I'm Barrett Brooks, says Merrill.
I want to hear Merrill.
We have Merrill? As they party on Broad Street, Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with the call as the Eagles are Super Bowl 59 champs.
It's over. The Philadelphia Eagles have won Super Bowl 59. They have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. It's their second Super Bowl win in 7 years. What a game. What a season. What a team. The greatest Eagles team in modern history. Eagles fans, savor it and rejoice.
Rejoice
really
indeed. Really good. Merrill Reese on the call for 94 WIP. It has been a beautiful season, culminating in a beautiful night down in New Orleans and in Philadelphia. Enjoy this win, this victory. We'll have plenty more information for you on the parade coming up tomorrow. Birds Huddle. Barrett Brooks is going to be joining us. Jaws comes back. Ike's there. He's not doing his radio. He'll be on Birds Huddle. Ruben's not doing the podcast. Thanks for watching. Eagles win, Eagles win, Eagles win. Good night, everybody.